Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Friday, November 30th, 2012. This is the final trading day in the month of November. The markets have had a decent run as of late. Last couple of weeks have pretty much been straight up. Let's take a look at what the market's doing today. We'll take a look at a chart here of the S&P 500 E-mini futures. They are pulling back off their morning highs. Futures now are flat on the session, trading right around 14.16 per contract. So again, we'll see if the futures do pull back a little bit more. Let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index. As we know, when the dollar goes up, the market goes down, and sure enough, the dollar is catching a pretty robust bid here, and that certainly has been one of the catalysts for a pullback in the E-mini futures. But all in all said, the futures are basically flat today. Yesterday, the market did carve out a small gain, and we'll see if that can remain the case today, as volume will generally get light on a Friday after the first couple of hours. So we'll have to see how that plays out going forward. But if the dollar continues to rise, obviously the markets could come under pressure. On the flip side, though, if the dollar pulls back once the opening bell rings, the markets will get buoyed and they'll be buoyant, and they could trade a little bit higher. So again, it's a Friday. Normally on a Friday, we look for a flat to slightly positive day. No real big upside expected, but you never know. And no real big downside expected, but then again, you never know. All right, let's take a look at a few things out here. Some economic data, I think, is going to be released at 8:30, which is still about 7 or 8 minutes from now. So you're going to have a little bit of economic data. I believe that is going to be released at 8:30, personal income. And you'll also have economic data today at 9:45. I think that's going to be Chicago PMI. So we'll see how that, if it does move the market at all. I'm not really expecting all that much out of it. Just watch the dollar. That will tell you everything you need to know going forward. So we'll see exactly how that plays out. But once again, watch that little bit of economic data out a little bit later. As for big news events, we're still getting a lot of chatter about the fiscal cliff. The president looks like he wants to remove the debt ceiling. I think that's the craziest thing I've ever heard, because the debt ceiling is the only thing that keeps these politicians from spending more money and printing more money. So in any case, the president wants to remove the debt ceiling. That's the latest news, but that's total insanity if you ask me. Even though they always break the debt ceiling, at least it keeps the American people somewhat on guard what we're spending out there, and the money that is being created out of thin air. So again, the debt ceiling removal is absolutely insane if you ask me, but that is what President Obama is looking to do. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, you do have some news out there about various names. There's not all that much that I think is going to affect today's tape. So let's take a look at gold and oil this morning. We do have gold trading lower by about $2 to $1,728 an ounce. So if you take a look here at the GLD, which is a good proxy for gold, you can see GLD is starting to sell off a little bit. It was trading as high as 167.70 this morning, now trading at $167.11. Yesterday the GLD closed right around this area, so not that big a deal at least at the moment. Let's take a look at light sweet crude this morning, which is trading lower by 27 cents to $87.80 a barrel. So that is down a little bit. And once again, when the dollar is up, we're trading higher. You know that oil and gold will come down and trade lower. The USO this morning trading at 32.20. It's basically where it closed yesterday, but USO will trade to 4 o'clock, where spot crude will close at 2:30 in the afternoon. So again, no real movement there in the USO, but you do see a little bit of a decline in light sweet crude, just down by 28 cents at the moment. All right, let's take a look at some stocks in the news today. There's a few out there. I'm going to start off with Yum Brands. This is the big one in my opinion. So Yum Brands getting hit this morning, trading at $68.88, traded as low as $67 in the pre-market. I have some levels here for this one. Right now, I think if we trade lower here, traders could watch the $68 level again. There's going to be some support there. After that, it's going to be $66.31, $64.50. This is a strong gap down. So just remember, strong gaps can go lower, especially if the market it turns around and is weak. So in a weak market, strong gaps can really flush, especially if the gap is to the downside, and that's what this is today. So you're going to watch $68, 66.31, 64.50, and then ultimately, I think it's going to be around 61 bucks. So keep an eye on all those levels. I would not even get really interested in this stock. The best level I think is going to be 66.31. 68 may give you a little bit of a bounce, but that's all it's going to be in my opinion. This 200-day moving average right at $68 as well, or a pierce of it. 66.31 I think is a good bounce area. Also 64.50, I think that could be a good bounce area. But this is a strong gap, so just take that into consideration this morning. Let's take a look at a couple of other stocks. This ULTA, Ulta Salon. This one is catching a pretty nice little bid, trading around $99. I don't have a great level for this. It's a weak gap up, so I'm thinking around this $99.25 to $100 level should be fairly good resistance. You also have a double top on the daily chart at around 103.60. That should be good resistance. This is a very light volume name. Rarely does it trade over 1 million shares, so it's always a much tougher fade play. But this is a candidate to fade. I would not be buying this up here. And both of those levels could give you fades. The better level would be obviously the 103.60, 104 level. But it's a thin stock. $99.27 to $100 would also be another potential fade area. But it's a thin stock, and you got to be careful with these thin stocks. Sometimes they'll inflate higher than you think they can. And if the market turns out to catch a bid, this thing probably could go to double top. You can't rule that out. But I would not be buying the stock here. It is overbought already, and it really looks like it should come under selling pressure up here at these levels around $100 or so. Okay, let's take a look at Seagate Technologies, STX. This company offered a special dividend today. Stock is trading a little bit higher. It closed yesterday at 25.25. Today it's trading at 25.66. Well, I shouldn't say a special dividend. They increased their dividend. Now, this is what you want to know. Companies that increase their dividend, they're not going to hold up pretty much. This stock's in a downtrend. I don't really see any real reason to buy this one. But what I want to point out is if they come out with a big special dividend, that could keep the stock buoyant. And a lot of companies now are going to do that by the end of the year. When it comes to these dividends, I think you have a couple out there. Tell Labs is doing it. Regal Entertainment is doing it. Mastech Holdings. They're all doing that special dividend. So again, just be a little bit on the cautious side. You want to make sure you check the news out, see the difference between a special dividend and just a company increasing the dividend. Special dividends, if they're robust and they're several dollars, they can keep the stock buoyant today. But just increasing the dividend is not really going to do a whole lot. And that's what I think Seagate did. They approved a 19% increase in the dividend. So I don't think that's really that big of a deal. So don't buy into that Seagate news today. I don't really think it's going to be that significant from my vantage point. Okay? Other than that, there's a few other movers out here. Oh, I just saw VeriSign. I have not done work on this, nor did I see this earlier. But this is getting clipped now. Stock closed yesterday at around $39.34. It's trading at $34.50. Give me a moment with this one. Yeah, traders should look for $32.83 and possibly $31.60. Okay, so those are going to be your two levels for VeriSign. But yeah, that's a pretty nice gap down. I just saw it right now. I would love to do more work on it, but that's all I'm getting at the moment. So keep an eye on that one. $32.83 will be some support. $31.60, and then it's down to 27 bucks. But VeriSign is getting clipped this morning. I don't know what the news is. I just saw it pop up on my radar here. So again, that one is getting hit pretty hard. And that looks like a fairly strong gap down because you've had a bounce already, and you've taken out the last little pivot from October. So that one certainly can go lower. But watch those levels I gave you: 32.83, 31.36, and then it's all the way down to 27 bucks. All right. That's pretty much all that I'm seeing at the moment. There are some other movers, but They're light volume names, not really worth mentioning. And I just want to stick with the liquid stocks that are out there at the moment. All right, everybody. With that said, have a great trading day, and we'll see you all on Monday. Take care, everyone.